You're listening to Potty Mouth Radio, the home of movies, music, television, and comedy.
Oh, the nitrogen. The nitrogen seeping in.
And now, the hunt for the perfect album.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Hunt for the Perfect Album with Billy and Dave, where this week Dave has tormented me with an album that I've given him. He's pouring himself a big, thick, juicy Guinness at the moment because he said he's going to need a beer to talk about this album, which has me very worried. I'm hoping that he's just playing a prank because this is one of my favourite albums from one of my favourite artists. So
Shit.
I really thought that I'd picked a winner here because I know that much like me, you enjoy folk and I guess we'll get straight into it.
I do enjoy folk.
So we are talking about a 2010 album by artist Tamas Wells, 30 People Away, which, as I mentioned last week, I think is probably his first kind of more polished albums. So if you don't like this, I'd be upset to hear you talk about his earlier albums. I don't even remember how I discovered Tamas Wells. His first album, I think, was 2004, and I think I discovered him probably not too long after that, around 2006, 2007, I want to say. And I honestly can't remember how. It was probably, I have some very good friends who introduced me to lots of great independent music. One of them probably handed it to me on a cassette tape. And I just fell in love, and I've been following him ever since. He released an album just last year. I think he's got 6 or 7. So hit me with it straight up. Let's talk about 30 People Away by Tamas Wells.
I said in a previous episode, I'm sure, one of the kind of issues, I guess, I find with some of this genre is sort of a sameness, I guess, to some of the songs.
Yeah.
That not that they're bad, but there's sort of an unremarkableness to them sometimes.
Yeah.
It's more of that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's not.
I knew that you weren't being serious, but you took a fucking long time to get there.
I did, didn't I?
So can you just tell me that you liked this album?
This might be the best thing you've given me.
Oh, fuck yes.
Leaves were raked at the end of Albion Lake for the teams to find the evidence of why they'd failed to rise. Run out and hide when they heard voices calling from the flame trees. I could see if the lovers hadn't been to the lake that day, could have found a way to escape to town. Take the Greyhound with the coins they found and went into the morning light.
I knew that you couldn't have been serious when you were talking about stuff being samey because I actually think that this is it's funny, even though Tamas Wells has a style and a type. It's very folk. By the time he got to these albums, it's quite poppy. His earlier stuff is pretty much just him and a guitar. So by this point, when you get the bass and the keys and everything coming in, it's quite different. But even within his albums, I feel like even though he has a style, it's quite diverse. I'm so glad you enjoyed this album.
I fucking love
I
this
thought you
album.
would. This is the kind of
Not
album to
only-
buy on vinyl
look,
and sit in your little sitting room with a scotch and listen to on vinyl. That's what this album is. Yeah.
This absolutely, I will be looking up, and if it's available, I will be buying this on vinyl.
Yeah.
I will also be doing a fucking headfirst deep dive into this Tamas Wells fucker that I've never heard of.
Do it. I think he's got 8 albums now. He started definitely
there's
early
a
2000s.
fuckload of shit out there. Oh my God. Trust me, I've Googled.
Yeah. His most recent album came out only about a year ago, and I think he even has a new single out.
This and this is for Julio. This is for you, mate. You and I. This is our in. The title track of this album has a film clip that has Dennis Levant in it, who no one else is going to fucking know. He's a fucking amazing French actor. Julio and I know him because he's the main star and through point through the whole of Holy Motors, which is an amazing film that everyone should fucking watch. And about 50% of you will appreciate. But it's an amazing film. Denis Levant, he is one of the two stars. So the film clip for the title track of this album, 30 People Away, is Denis Levant and a French actress whose name is Roxanne fucking something. I don't recall. I don't know her. She's very pretty. But it's all about Denis Levant, who we love, and the film clip is amazing. And this album is fucking amazing. I am so blown away by this guy. I cannot tell you. He has an incredible voice. No, you play it.
Him when all the people crowded around at the stakes, just yards from the lake. But we heard you say that nobody knew about the danger and all the stages opened up an appalling line of people waiting in vain as it started to rain.
I'm so glad that you mentioned his voice, because that was the one thing I wasn't actually sure about. As you know, I listen to a lot of indie music, and he has a very... I don't know if it's the Australianness. He's quite nasal. I love his voice.
I would not
I
think
think
him as Australian.
Really? Okay, interesting.
No.
Yeah.
To me,
I think he
this
has
is
a stunning voice.
This is a kind of a mix of, I don't know, Simon and Garfunkel and the Shins and
Yep.
I don't know.
This guy needs more
kind
love. Like Tamas Wells, every now and then I come across an artist where I'm like, I don't understand how this person is not the biggest star on the planet. And obviously with Tamas Wells, I understand why he's not. He's not Taylor Swift. But why he isn't more well known than he is, I will never understand.
To me, this is every bit as good and 100% in the same camp as the Shins. So I don't get why everyone knows who the fucking Shins are.
Yeah.
And no one knows who the fuck Tamas Wells is. Because
okay.
I don't get it. To me, and like, I don't dislike the Shins, but to me, there's a handful of tracks that stand above, head and shoulders above the crowd, and are the big kind of hit tracks.
Yeah.
And everything else is kind of good, but a bit the same. This album, and I haven't listened to any of his other stuff, but this album, every fucking track is a winner.
Okay, well, you should listen to it.
This is better than the Shins.
Like I said last week, I was being genuine when I let you pick the year, because you could throw a stone at a collection of Tamas Wells CDs and, in my opinion, hit a perfect album. I think that I don't think he has ever put out an album with a bad song on it. And they are all... he's of a style, obviously, and a lot of his stuff does sound of that style, but I feel like they are still very distinct. You can listen to a track and go, that's from that album, because that's when he was in his very folky acoustic guitar phase, or that's from this album because he was a little bit more poppy here. So, go ahead, dig through all of his discography, and I guarantee you'll love it.
I will be. This is... Look... And I realize we're now talking to non-patrons as well, because we've kind of opened this show up. Look, I know there has not been a bad album on this show.
Yeah.
There's not been a single thing either of us has thrown at the other one where we've gone, oh my God, you're in an island of one. This is shit.
Yeah.
Every single one has been a hit in some way, shape, or form. This is, with the exception of Charlie Bliss, the best thing Billy has given me.
Excellent.
This album is fucking gold. Right. I love it.
Well, let's get into the tracks then. What's your favorite track?
Oh, it's so hard. Look, I can narrow it down to maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
So... The first track, Crime at Edmund Lake, I love.
Yep.
Second track, Fire Balloons, I think I love more.
Yeah, right.
He never told never told her all about the way they hold their hands over their eyes when the sparks decide to shower all around the grounds. Said to me, crowds come out to see them in the dark with their blankets and their scarves. They're seldom late to see the star.
Yeah, it's a great. Oh man, I'm so glad you like this
so
album.
good.
Oh yes.
All right.
Tell me you like England
Then
Had
we-
a Queen as well, track 3. Tell me you like that one.
Look, I love England Had a Queen. It's not in the ones I sort of hand picked, but there are no fucking dud tracks on this album.
yeah.
So that's not a downside. So play some of it because it's good.
In a weather-tight drum, it was leather, it was guns that would hold it inside. All together till the ceremony came. Everyone waited still. Yes, everyone waited still. But the battle didn't mean there were treasures, there were dreams of every...
That's probably in my top 3 England Had a Queen. On this
Love
album.
it. Have we, all right. Have we mentioned your favorite yet?
No, I don't think we have. No, absolutely not. No.
Okay, good. All right. Not my favorite, but one of my favorites is Her Eyes Were Only Scars.
Yeah, that's when I said England Had a Queen was in my top 3. This one also is, but not my favorite.
Kept the ropes out on the line so they could try before. Rains that came made half the day all sweltering inside. The power lines were made to skirt around the lane and reach behind. But the night when he returned, she reached up high on.
Yeah, I love that song so much.
Oh God! It's
Oh my god!
fucking
I'm
beautiful.
telling you right now, you got to go back and listen to his other albums because I guarantee that you're going to absolutely adore them. You're going to love them.
Oh, 100%. I am so there.
Yeah.
I am sold on this album. I love it.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Live Club, yeah, fine. And then we get to track 9, the title track.
Yeah.
And I think this is my favorite.
Really? Okay.
I think so. I think it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Not sure, but yeah.
Not my favorite. I did play it earlier when you spoke about the film clip, so I won't play it again.
Play it more.
That's interesting. My favorite from this album, I actually think, is the closing track, Your Hands Into Mine.
Oh, really? That whole run from Her Eyes Were Only Scars all the way through to Your Hands Into Mine,
Yeah.
I think is super strong.
Yeah.
I love them all. So, don't hate that.
Eyes of voice. I heard ceiling fans and noise. I tried to talk about the ways.
And I'm sure that it's a very personal stylistic thing. That is very clearly the most stripped back song on this album. It's just him and the guitar. It's very unpolished, and that's kind of how I fell in love with Tamas Wells. So while I love this entire album, there's something really nice about that final track being a bit of a return to kind of how he used to record and stuff. So I'm sure that's very personal for me, and other people might find that, easily the most boring track on the album. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I for me, I think it's 100% the title track,
yeah,
and only by a margin. I think there are no dud tracks. This album is fucking amazing. I am 100% sold on this artist and will be checking out every
Nice.
other album, single, whatever else he's done.
Yeah.
Tamas Wells, I'm coming for you.
Fantastic. I mean, he did literally release a single just this year, doesn't say when. Oh, no, 24th of November. So literally just the other week.
It's all coming. We've got a new fucking Charlie Bliss album. We've got a new Tamas Wells. Bring it on in, patron saints of the company.
Like I said,
me.
he just seems like a super interesting dude. He's just a fantastic
The little bit I've read,
songwriter.
fucking moving to somewhere. Where did he move to? Fucking Burma or somewhere?
Burma, that's where it was. Yes, yeah, yep.
Somewhere in fucking Southeast Asia. He moved there to contribute to HIV
Yeah.
advocacy and so on, and helping the people in those parts of the world. So,
So
not only a great musician, also seemingly a phenomenal human being, better than either Billy or I.
So his first album came out in 2004. That's a mark on the pane. I would highly recommend after this checking out his 2008 album, 2 Years in April, which I think is probably my favorite of his.
Okay.
But it is
I'll do that.
a lot more unpolished. But I think that Signs I Can't Read.
I like Black Flag and the Ramones. Unpolished doesn't faze me.
I think that Signs I Can't Read from that album is probably one of my favorite songs of all time.
Okay. Not that you're putting any pressure on me whatsoever for listening to it, but okay, sure.
All right. So what are you going to give me next week, mate? Oh, and how are you scoring 30 People Away? Are we at a 10? Are we at a 10 out of 10?
Nothing's a 10. There is no such thing as a 10. Doesn't exist. It means there's no room for improvement. It's an 8.
An 8, okay.
A
Nice.
very strong 8.
Excellent.
May go to a 9.
Yeah.
We don't know. All right, next week, what am I going to fucking give you? That's a very good question. Do you want Australian bands, 60s bands, or Britpop?
Hit me with the 60s. Let's do something different because I'm going to give you another Australian band next, I think. And I think we've had a couple of Britpop. So yeah, let's go 60s.
Okay. I am going to give you, and it seems, I don't know, it seems kind of silly for the show that we're doing, but I'm going to give you The Doors by The Doors.
Okay. All right. I've actually not listened to a lot of The Doors. I'm familiar with The Doors.
Oh, good.
But,
Yeah,
like outside of
obviously
their
it's a
big
famous
hits.
band,
Yeah. All right.
All right. Debut album, The Doors by The Doors. There we go.
okay.
1967. We're fucking casting the net.
Excellent.
Whee!
There we go. That'll be next week. Thank you again for listening here as we hunt for the perfect album. I'm very glad that we got fairly close this week. If you want to keep in touch with us, you can do that at wewatchthething.com or wewatchthething@gmail.com. And if you want to listen ahead to the next 20 or so odd episodes of this, you can do that at patreon.com/wewatchthething.
Yeah. You are listening to this now, but you are listening to it in the past. So if you would like to catch up to the present and be like the Doctor and have control over time and space, head on over to Patreon. Throw $1 a month or whatever the fuck the minimum shit is, and you too will have heard this some months ago.
I heard that they fight a lot. They would awake all the suffering, and the chemicals took their toll, I believe. Still for another faith, to say they'll agree